Yo, what's up? It's Jackal. Thank you for joining me on the Eli frequency. You could have been anywhere in the world today. And I appreciate that you took this time to spend it with me. So as not to waste it, what we talking about? We talking about Joe Budden, his podcast crew, and how they feel about what's going on with 50 Cent and T.I. So let's hear what they got to say about it.
Let's go. Like, I remember, like, after Jadakiss did Check Me, I felt like the same thing. Like, it was like, he rapped, he killed it, we ain't talking about it no more.
T.I. went to the internet as well. Did a family thing with a caption that said, "My biggest flex is being able to protect my mama till I could provide her with a better, like, happy birthday mama," with the family around the table with his mother. And again, now you playing those.
This is nasty work. 50 mom died when he was like 8. This is going somewhere nasty. If 50 has thick skin and he's like, this is how we play, it's fine. If he don't, because some people can give the bullying but can't take it, then this is going to go somewhere stupid. I don't want to go nowhere stupid.
I don't want it either.
I think this shit is embarrassment. Two successful black men, moguls in their own right, resorting to this shit. It's always us having this black eye. Like, we can't be successful and just fucking maintain a level of decorum and tact. I think the shit is whack.
I agree it's whack, but if you're T.I.
I'm not mad at T.I.
Oh, okay.
I'm feeling part of that, what they were saying about that, right? It's interesting. I think T.I., like they said, he's just responding to 50 and his escalation of the situation. But as I said before, I do think his son is a little bit off base. But that being beside the point, I want to talk about something that Ish said. And I used to say it all the time. And I rarely say it now, but I think we have to start backing away from that. When we start saying things like, why do we always have to engage in this? It's a black guy to us. Talking about black folks. Saying that it's a black guy to us, that we always got to be fighting against each other and doing this and that as successful men, black men. Okay, so I think we should step away from saying that about one another all the time. Sometimes it's relevant, but think about all the successful black men, Dr. Dre, Tyler Perry, just Jay-Z. Just think about all the successful billionaire-esque black men or people that are above that 100 million and more range. Think about how many successful black men there are with regard to that. Michael Jordan, LeBron James, that are not embroiled in this back and forth with any other black men. I mean, we all have our opinions, and some people state their opinions of how they feel about somebody else and what they got going on, but think about how many successful, over 100 million black men that there are. They aren't engaged in this back and forth. So we have to stop pretending that none of us can be engaged in a back and forth. People of other cultures and races, they do the same thing. It just looks different. You know what I mean? It just looks different. It looks like this with us because we are the culture. So we know how to get all eyes on it. We utilize the internet to our benefit when it comes to this. That's where trolling comes from. Us and how we jump on people, right? Because, I mean, if you think about it, other cultures do the same thing. It wasn't a friendly fight between Burger King and McDonald's and all these Fortune 500 companies, Adidas, Nike, like they weren't fighting friendly. They may not have had the conversations that we have back and forth, but they were in litigation. Do you know what I'm saying? Mark Zuckerberg and Elon and everybody who was trying to get who's trying to get right now into the AI space, who are trying to get into the VR space. All those people were in litigation. They were suing each other. They were not playing nice in the field. They weren't like shaking hands and buddy Microsoft when it started with regard to Bill Gates and Steve Jobs. They were banging heads. They may have seemed friendly every now and again, but they were not friendly. They were trying to put each other out of business. They were trying to destroy one another's livelihood. So it's not just us. I would like to step back away from that, us always having to defer to saying, why do we have to be this way? It's only us. we always got to look like we get the black eye. We always got to be the ones who don't seem or pulling each other down. It's not. It's human nature. It's not black nature. It's not black culture. It's human nature. Just like they saying, like people say, why black folks always the ones killing each other and why black folks are always the ones. It's not. There's no such thing as just black folks doing killing one another. And like people kill, commit crimes and criminal activity within their environment. So if black folks who are in the criminal activity lived around white folks, they would be robbing and killing and breaking into their homes. But because they live around other black folks, they rob and kill and break into their homes. Just like white folks rob, steal, kill, and break in homes that they're near and that's within their environment. I mean, this is documented stuff. The data shows people commit crimes within proximity to where they are regulate or where they are regularly at. You know, we're not killing or doing this to black people because they're black. Like, he black, I'm gonna rob him. He black, I'm gonna do this to that. People don't think that's not what goes through their mind. If there was a white man walking through the hood with a whole bunch of jewelry on, he get robbed just like anybody else. I mean, there may be a small hesitation to him getting robbed because you think he's a plant. You know what I'm saying? You think you being set up. Nah, I ain't touching that. But other than that, the thought of robbing that person, it's there. So, I mean, I get ish what he trying to say, but I just want us to be more aware of when we run right to the why we always do this. Like we got that from them telling us that all the time. Like racist white folks always saying, see, black people, they don't know how to do this. See, black people, they always doing this to one another. White people made up the words black on black crime. It's not real. Because understand this, there's no such thing, there's no such language as white on white crime, right? There's no such language as Asian on Asian crime, but there is a thing called black on black crime. That's how you know it's not real. They made up a thing so that black folks can get down on it and that other white folks can have something to say negative about grouping black folks together and saying something negative. And now think about how familiar that word is to you. See all this black on black crime? And now we even say it. Man, we got to stop, man. That's why we got all this black on black. It's not real, man. White people commit crimes amongst other white people. Asian folks commit crimes amongst other Asian white folks. They just don't highlight it and say that because you know why? Because they know the data says that people commit crimes within their proximity and their surroundings. So for you even to fall into that black on black crime means that you're subscribing to them making it appear as if black folks are the only ones who commit crimes against themselves. Everyone does that. It's not like shocking. And you can say at the rate that they do, again, the statistics and the data does not support that. The data supports people commit crimes, white people commit crimes on the same level as black folks against other white folks. There's no humongous difference. Now, where there are, we know where that comes from. We know exactly where that comes from. Think about this. Young black men in the ghetto, in the hood, where are they going or where can they go? A lot of them don't even have college diplomas, right? So we can submit that a lot of the young black inner city kids who've dropped out of school or who aren't going to school and who aren't very educated, we can submit they aren't the most intelligent people to exist. I'm talking about those folks, right? And That's a small subsection of a section of people, right? I'm talking about the ones who drop out of school, join gangs, and all this stuff. I'm not saying they're unintelligent. I'm just saying they're not amongst the smartest people because they're not being educated. They have a street smarts that's a high, but I'm talking about education. So how are they so resourceful, right? If they don't have the same amount of education as other folks, do you think they're able to fly planes? Do you think they're able to like get their pilot's licenses and go like fly to Colombia to get drugs and bring them back here? Do you think they're able to go somewhere in the United States and say, I know the exact person who distributes for Pablo Escobar. I'm going to go talk to him and I'm going to get drugs and sell them and distribute them amongst my homeboys, and then we're going to sell them. Do you think they're able to find the manufacturer of submachine guns and Uzis and Tech Nines? Do you think they're able to go find the manufacturers who make these weapons? I'm just asking the questions. Your answer should be no to this. So your second question should be, if they don't have the ability to go get these things, how do they get them? How do they have them? That's your second question. Your third question your third statement should be, therefore, someone must be bringing these things to them. Someone very educated and intelligent, very connected, and has access to a vast amount of resources. How does a young man on the south side of Chicago who dropped out of school in 7th grade, how does he have access to an 8-ball? How did he get that 8-ball? Don't you have to think about that? He didn't go to Columbia. We established that. And after that 8-ball is sold, how does he have access to more? Think about that. And then once he goes to jail because he got caught and he's off the street, how does the next person come along and take his place and know exactly where to get his 8-ball from, where to get his ounces from? And on a smaller scale of people, where to get their kilos from? How do they know where to get them from? Because the people who are selling it to them make themselves known because they have to get that product off. So they have to make themselves known, right? So you're telling me that ill-educated person, he can get access to a person selling the weight, but the highly intelligent Federal Bureau of Investigation, they don't have access. They don't know who's selling these big quantities of drugs and guns. They don't know. They don't have access. But this young man coming from the ghetto, he knows who's selling it. He got access. You're telling me the local law enforcement, federal law enforcement, they have to go question that boy who dropped out of school in the 6th grade. They have to question him and threaten him in order to find out who's selling this, who's selling the big weight and who's selling the guns. Come on. You can't believe that if you're intelligent. There's no way you can believe that. If that boy, that young man, if he knows who's selling these things and he goes to get product from them to distribute, federal investigators have to know. They have to. How did he find out? So you're busting people that come from that environment and trying to make them tell you who's selling the stuff. And then some of these young men are being called snitches and everything. If they're snitches, that means they're telling on the people who are really bringing the weight and the large amount of guns in. So if they're snitching, how come those people aren't frequently being the ones arrested? It can't be a large number of those people. You know why? Because they're not trying to arrest those people. Think about this. What happens if the federal investigators or the Federal Bureau of Investigations, let's say they're 5,000 people bringing in large amounts of drugs and guns. I don't think there is that many, but let's say it's 5,000. And let's say 198 of them were arrested. and their whole flow was arrested. That takes all the drugs off the streets. A large percentage of the drugs are gone, takes it off the streets, right? Then what happens? What happens with the ATF? Pretty much got to dismantle the ATF if that happens. Alcohol, tobacco, and firearm, it's gone. Once that's gone, tobacco and firearms, I said Tabasco. But once that's gone, it's done, right? You don't need them. So all the money you were paying for that specific division of law enforcement, we saving that. That can be directed somewhere else, right? Local law enforcement. Once you're not chasing the young men who are selling these drugs locally, then what? What happens then? What happens to all the overtime, all these new hire? What happens? I'm just curious of what happens. Do you start going out and being friendly to the neighborhood, to the community? But your quotas go down because most black men are arrested and sent through the prison pipeline because of drug abuse, drug distribution, not crime, violent crime, because drug distribution is a crime. So what happens then? What happens to the prison industrial complex? All these people making all this money from having heads in prison, for having the heads in the bed. What happens to that? There'll be more money to educate people now, right? Those kids who dropping out 7th, 8th grade, there's no way for them to make money now, right? There's no way for them to make all this money now. Then it'll become the trend to stay in school and get a job, get an education. You got to think about this. Somebody don't want that, and it's not them. They don't want it because they don't know of another way. I can go to school, get an education. I might get a job, decent job, or I can go out here right now and make a lot of money. I'm going to go make a lot of money right now. Tomorrow ain't promised. But if tomorrow was promised for all these young men, they would choose a different way. So I said all that to say that we have to stop thinking that we're so worse or worse off or so negative more than anyone else. We're not, but we have to understand that we're not. So we have to stop acting as if. We have to stop seeing some black people do some negative stuff and attributing that to black people. We're reacting the same way as anybody else. We're putting too much pressure on ourselves to not look like we're normal people. And we've been taught that. We've been brainwashed, right? Like any black person in an office, I can guarantee you the ones who want success feel like they have to work twice as hard as anyone else in order to receive the same or even less acknowledgement. So I just wanted to say we should take just a little step back. I'm not saying we have to always not say that, but I think we should take a step back and try to say that as little as possible. And I had to think about that because I used to do that all the time too, man. See, black folk, I had to stop because it's not true. And I don't want to attribute negative things to us as if it's not a human thing. It's not normal. 50 Cent and T.I. going back and forth, that's normal human behavior. Like there's a such thing as jealousy. There's a such thing as people not liking another person to be in their lane and they try to destroy them. That goes on in corporate America very much. Think about this. Here's a perfect analogy for that or parallel. Think about what it looks like in the hip hop industry. Young rappers get signed. They get raped with their deals. They have all this talent and they go in wide-eyed, expecting that people or thinking that people want the best for them. All the people that are above them don't look like them, but they're predators. All they want to do is make money off your talent and take everything from it. That's the mentality of the people that you don't think are doing the same thing. They don't see a person with a lot of talent and say, you know what, we can make a lot of money. I'm going to take him and his talent polish it up a little bit, and we're gonna make a lot of money. No, we can make millions off of your talent. I know the people, I have the resources, so you have the talent, so let's do it. No, they say, wow, this person has a lot of talent. I can make a lot of money off of him. And they take you, they exploit your talent, generate millions, and give you a small loan that you have to pay back. Even though they recouped, give you a small loan that you have to pay back. So you come in, they give you a loan for $500,000. You generate, let's say very small, a couple of million off your first thing, right? So they gave you that loan for $500,000. So you got to pay that back. That brings it down to 1.5 million, right? $1.5 million. Then they say, hold on, we spent a lot of money to make these videos and get these models and the cars and all this other stuff. Man, all that was $1 million, man. So that's coming out of the pocket. It's coming out of your pocket. So, and that's $1 million, right? It cost $1 million for us to get you right here. So you took a loan for $1 million or for 500. It cost $1 million to get you popping, and that $1 million coming off your end. You already in the whole 1.5 now. That other 500 million, the other 500,000. Yeah, I gotta get paid. So I'm taking half of that, 250, right? You got 250 left. You got a manager that need 15%. You got an agent that need 10%. But your mortgage, because you just bought this nice house, all these couple of cars you just bought, you in the red again now. They don't take it like Prince did on, who was that, Jimmy Kimmel? When he said, you generate 2 million, like the record company ain't taking no losses, man. I mean, if they can help it. On some artists, they take losses, but they ain't taking no losses. Like, they trying to profit off everything, even if you don't. You paying me back for that loan. You paying me back for all the money I had to front for you to do all this other stuff. And then we holding some of your money in reserves because we don't know what else might come in. Oh, but then I got to get paid. The producer got to get paid. Like, the producer, he getting his money off the front. The manager, they getting their money. The agent, they getting their money. The attorney, they getting their money. Everybody getting their money before you get your money. You know why? Because everybody's on a mission to get rich off of your talent, and they don't care about you. And then when you stop having the attention of people, they leave you dry. But you can't go out and make money with another company now because you're still signed to the deal with them. So you can't even make a living now doing this music. But they got the next best thing. So they still generate money. They still making their millions. You're stuck. Still under contract. Can't go make money with somebody else. But your bills don't stop. Your bills do not stop. So in a world that evolves in all ways, let your foundation be eternal love always. Thanks for listening. And don't forget to subscribe, hit that thumbs up button and the notification bell so you can be notified when I'm on the next frequency. So until then, frequently. Peace. You looking good, man. How you doing?
I'm fine.
That's good. My name's CDN. What's your name?
My name's Hadilla.
It's a beautiful name, but I just call you Hot.
I guess you can.
So what would it take for a man like me to get with a woman as fine as you?
You really want to know what it takes to get with a girl like me?
For sure. Your gravity, bringing them strings. Yeah, let's add some emotion to this scene. Yeah.